Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me. In this presentation, I will be discussing the Successive Approximation Model, or SAM, as one instructional design approach. This approach offers a flexible and iterative process to course development, making it a valuable alternative to a more traditional model like ADDIE. During the presentation, we will define SAM, explore its key phases, consider how it differs from ADDIE and other more traditional or rigid processes, as well as discuss its benefits and potential real-world applications. These are the 4 objectives that I hope to accomplish through the presentation. And I hope that after the presentation, you will have a clear understanding of how SAM works and when it might be a sufficient approach, the best approach perhaps, for an instructional design project. So what is SAM? It's an agile iterative approach, like I mentioned, to instructional design that focuses on rapid prototyping, continuous feedback, and flexibility. Unlike a more traditional model where you have a strict step-by-step process, SAM allows for quick iterations and improvements throughout the entire process. Some of its key features include rapid prototyping. With SAM, designers create early versions of a course or an instructional module. Instead of getting hung up on developing that one perfect product, these early prototypes allow for quick testing and refinement before the design is finalized. This helps to identify issues early on, to evaluate a variety of approaches, and ensure that the content is engaging and effective. You have those quick repeated iterations. Solutions are developed in small cycles rather than all at once. Instead of following a linear one-time development process, something that's long and drawn out, SAM emphasizes small continuous improvements, which hopefully prevents wasted effort on a solution that might be ultimately deemed ineffective, and ensures that you're making steady incremental progress through the whole process. You have a continuous cycle of feedback, improvements, and evaluation. With the SAM process, designers can refine content in real time. Feedback is gathered at multiple points, allowing designers to adjust content in real time based on stakeholder, SME, and learner input. So a variety of input from stakeholders. This iterative approach ensures alignment with learning objectives and a real-world application. And it really emphasizes collaboration. So those stakeholders, the subject matter expert, learners, are all contributing to the development process. With as many people actively involved throughout the process as possible, this ensures that the course content is accurate, relevant, and engaging, while potentially and hopefully minimizing any misalignment or last-minute changes. So let's talk about the 3 main phases of SAM in some more detail. SAM consists of these 3 core phases: the preparation phase, iterative design phase, and the iterative development phase. Each of those phases allows for adjustments and refinements along the way. In the preparation phase, this is where you're doing your quick background gathering and your brainstorming of initial ideas. That first phase is all about setting the foundation for the project. Instead of spending excessive time on front-end analysis like you might with the ADDIE process, SAM takes a more agile approach. You might be considering things like who your learners are and what their needs are. What do they already know? What skills do they need to develop through your instruction? You'd be defining project goals, identifying the learning objective or objectives, and how success will be measured once the instruction is complete. And there's something called a savvy start that takes place in this preparation phase, which is a collaborative brainstorming session where the design team, those SMEs or subject matter experts, and stakeholders discuss ideas, challenges, and opportunities with the project. Sometimes during this savvy start phase or this savvy start session, rapid prototypes or rough storyboards might come out of that might be a result of that session. So once the groundwork is set, the process moves into iterative design, where you are doing your prototyping, testing, and refining. So instead of fully designing and developing the course up front, again, like with a traditional model like ADDIE, you are entering an iterative cycle of design, testing, and improvement. So you are developing initial design concepts. The team together collaboratively creates rough drafts or simple versions of the course components, knowing that they will be evaluated and improved. You're creating those initial prototypes and gathering stakeholder feedback through the way. Those early prototypes are tested with the subject matter experts and with potential learners. And you're continuously revising and improving based on feedback. The goal is to refine the design in those small incremental changes. This approach ensures that any flaws or misunderstandings are caught early on before too much time or money is invested. Once the design phase is refined, we move on to the final phase of iterative development. In this last phase, you are building, evaluating, and finalizing the learning solution, whatever your product. That phase is where the actual learning solution is built, evaluated, and finalized. Your working product is developed. There are 3 versions of that product. So the alpha version is the first complete version, which is fully functional, but still obviously needs feedback and improvement. The beta version is adjusted based on initial feedback with corrections and refinements made. And the final version is called the gold version, which is ready for implementation, where the team decides no further changes are needed at this time. Of course, even after that gold version is implemented, feedback continues to be collected for future improvements. I think about something like developing an online course, and you, just before you're ready to post and publish your course for your students, that's the gold version. However, you're soliciting feedback from your students in that version of the course so that that feedback can be implemented in future versions of the course. This ongoing refinement process makes SAM highly effective for dynamic learning environments in particular. So we've talked about this a little bit already, but just to kind of emphasize the point a little bit, how is SAM different from ADDIE? Maybe to summarize some of the things that we said. How does it compare? Let's break it down. You have your more traditional model, which is linear, more rigid, and has long development cycles. There is a lot of heavy upfront planning with little flexibility. So you're spending a lot of time upfront on initial analysis and design. And you have a risk of spending too much time and money before you identify issues. So testing happens maybe too late in the process, and you are not able to identify problems soon enough. With SAM, that iterative model, it's fast and flexible, encouraging quick development and refinement. It's collaborative, as we mentioned, involving stakeholders early and often to ensure that the project remains on track and focused on what actually needs to happen. It encourages experimentation. There's this idea of failing fast that is encouraged with the SAM process, where you want to identify those errors and get to a point of failure as soon as possible so that you can make adjustments and improve the final product. And you're efficiently using resources. You're saving time and budget to avoid lengthy analysis paralysis, if you will, not getting too hung up on initial analysis and really just keeping the process moving. You can also think of ADDIE as, writing a book where you wait until absolutely everything is written down before you look at it to make any edits or adjustments. Whereas SAM would be like writing multiple drafts and trying to continuously refine as you go. Again, some of these things have been mentioned, but what are the benefits of SAM and maybe other iterative processes in general? Probably the biggest advantage is that it embraces flexibility and iteration, allowing IDs to create learning experiences that really evolve and improve over time, that are flexible enough to evolve and improve over time. The rapid development encourages progress over perfection. So courses are developed quickly rather than waiting for some perfect final product. Your initial prototype, it's not going to be the final product, but that's fine because there is continuous improvement happening. This allows for faster deployment and ensures that learners have access to training as soon as possible. There's continuous feedback, ensuring stakeholders and learners influence the design. Instead of relying only on expert designers, you're integrating feedback from multiple sources throughout the process, ensuring that the final product really meets your real-world needs and enhances learner engagement. There's cost and time efficiency, reducing wasted effort on ineffective solutions. by identifying and addressing those issues early on. You prevent that common problem of spending months on a course only to discover, hey, we are totally off track. We are not meeting our learner needs. We are missing the mark in terms of organizational goals, saving you ultimately money, time, resources. And I think it really encourages innovation. So designers are encouraged to explore multiple alternatives, enabling, hopefully, getting closer to a really effective learning solution. Designers are free to test different formats, technologies, and engagement strategies, leading to ultimately more creative solutions and ensuring that learning experiences are relevant and impactful. So when might SAM maybe be preferable to other more traditional processes? I think about the field of e-learning development and how kind of quickly changing your needs are. That at FAU, where I work with faculty, a lot of times at the very last minute, a department will decide that, this course that's always been taught face-to-face is going to be taught online. Things are moving all the time. Maybe the needs of your learners are moving all the time. So it can be useful in course design, online learning environments where you have to constantly adapt online courses to meet changing learner or organizational needs. If you're doing corporate training, we know that we're often operating on a tight budget or time restriction, so that quick prototyping can help you meet those deadlines for training modules. And in higher education in general, the process of updating a course, I use this example a lot, again, because of my work experience, but the process of totally revamping a course can feel really overwhelming, but the iterative incremental updates allow instructors maybe to refine courses between semesters based on changing student group needs rather than waiting for some big major redesign. I wanted to offer a couple of discussion questions that I hope will provoke some interesting thinking and conversation on our discussion board this week. I really look forward to hearing your thoughts and continuing the conversation. And in closing, these are the resources that I used in putting this together. To sum up, just to leave you with this, SAM is, I think, an efficient, flexible, iterative approach that really can empower instructional designers to create high-quality learning experiences more quickly. Focusing on rapid development, continuous feedback, and that adaptability or flexibility makes it particularly valuable in fast-paced learning environments, and what in 2025 is not a fast-paced learning environment. For IDs who need a process that balances speed with effectiveness, I think it is structured yet agile enough of a framework to really help deliver impactful learning solutions that are engaging and responsive to both learner and organizational needs. Thanks for your time today.